Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and in this video we'll talk about 7 tech red flags we shouldn't ignore and how to address them. Let's get started. I want to highlight one important thing, that all these opinions or all these red flags are completely my opinion and they are not related to anything else. Okay, that's one important point. Two is I want from this video is to highlight and define a baseline that if you see some of these red flags, you pay attention and process it. Okay, so I wanted from this video is to set a baseline to manage unrealistic expectations and seeking for a work-life balance. Feel free, it's not like an answer sheet. Starting a new job can be a bit overwhelming, and it's important to pick the right position for you. Okay, and I know that seeking a good quality work-life experience balance can be a bit challenging. I like to see more of solid rule definitions, not a mediocre or unicorn unrealistic expectations. Okay, let's get into it. The first red flag starts in LinkedIn. It starts very early if you pay some attention. And by that, there are 2 points to highlight here. The first one is when you search for data scientist title and then specify the location, let's say Germany, okay? And you find jobs ads that are located in Germany, Berlin, Munich, etc. On the other hand, you will see this one position, senior data scientist or data scientist, and then it's related to somewhere else, Canada for an example. This can be a bit challenging because why are you sharing this ad to different location? So this point need to be addressed properly. And so for me, I think that this ad is out of context and need more attention and need more research, because why are not posting or marketing or advertising for this position to the right place, to Canada, Toronto? The second one is when different skills are combined in one job offer. So I came across this job ad. Basically, a company searched for a full stack data scientist, and they stated that you are also willing to work as a data engineer when needed. And in case you don't know, data scientist is here, data engineer is here, like way different. Data engineer is responsible for managing data tables and data integrity, building schemas, dealing with Postgres, SQL, like here. And data scientist is handling business value and building multi-models, sitting with the stakeholders regarding the models, regarding machine learning models, deep learning models, recommendation systems, etc. Even the technologies used here as a data scientist, you build SQL queries. You have the table already set by the data engineer team, and you building queries and retrieve this data and use it in your machine learning model. So it's totally different titles. Like, I can understand if data scientist / ML engineer, because ML engineer is more involved into production, data scientist into more business values, driving business value, product optimization, etc. Quite relevant. They are under the same umbrella. They are using Python, R, SQL. But machine learning might use web applications, Golang, but still in the same category. Data engineer is way different, like way different here. Another point I need to highlight is that when it comes to figuring out more information about the company, like explicit opinions, I highly recommend to check or to do two ways. The first one is to create an account on Reddit and drop your question there, highlight the branch of the company, highlight the team that you will probably will work in the future with. So this one solution. Another solution is to try to reach out to ex-employees, ex-data scientist, ex-analyst, ex-machine learning engineer on LinkedIn, and probably they will respond to you, but choose to be like ex-employee because we seek for explicit opinion here. We seek complete understanding. And also I want to highlight that maybe you will get a biased answers. So again, you are collecting information and then you will have to process it. So yeah, for me, that's the 2 points I want to highlight relatable to searching for a job. The second red flag is interview phase. Interview phase, in case you don't know, it has many small sections. Started with screening, the video call or phone call. So you basically meet with the recruiter and he verifies that the information provided in your resume matches what you say. That's it. So you mentioned you have master or PhD in your resume, it matches. You confirm that. You work it for several years, it matches. Confirm your email address, your phone number, your legal name. What else? Projects you worked on. Maybe you want to add more stuff. You learn new language, programming language, or you have new certificates. So the recruiter will take the names and this new information from you and add it next to your profile and next to your resume. That's the first phase. The second phase, where you meet with the technical manager. So that will he will probably be your future manager. So he will ask you deeply into details of the projects. Okay, you worked on XYZ project. Tell me more about it. What are you satisfied with the results? Can you share some useful insights? What happened if we change this variable, or what happened if we add more data to your model, etc. So it's more into technicality. He will ask you some questions about like your previous experience, your previous companies and projects you worked there, how you collaborate with other teams. Previously in these two phases, you will have a home assignment for 7 days or 14 days to complete, and then you will set for another meeting with senior and your manager again. They will ask you about like the details of your assignment, why you pick this approach, why you choose the random forest instead of logistic regression, for an example, etc. And then we have the final interview when you meet the manager, and you will have a conversation with him or with her about your soft skills, about like you will negotiate about your salary if in case you get accepted, etc. So this is the phases, the interview phases. Okay, and one of the points that pay attention to is that we are more like a family, or we are family run, really run away. Why I'm saying this? Because in 2020 we collaborate in hackathons. Okay, we collaborate in events, we collaborate in this beautiful small games in webinars. If someone tells me that we are like a family, it's a red flag for me. We can be allies, we can be supporters, we can help each other, because again, we spend most of the day together working on the same projects over and over again, 5 days a week. So I don't see that companies need to emphasize on this point, that we need to be friends or our team members need to be like acting like a big family. Truly, we don't have to do that. We can be, again, supporters, we can be allies, and that's totally fine. We can initiate some activities so we can know each other. Legacy technologies and systems. Why I have classified this point as a red flag is because legacy technologies seem or quite correlate with legacy mindset. What I mean by that is legacy technologies takes time to figure out and fix and complete your tasks because the systems are not up to date. That means that they have higher potential of outage, of crashing, system errors, and it takes time and effort to contact with the help desk. And sometimes you might be behind your deadlines of the point. So that's why I highlighted as a red flag. Not everyone can handle legacy tools and legacy systems. No, it takes really long time and a lot of communications across teams to figure it out and to fix the problem. Next, we have red flag: work hard, play hard, or hit the ground running, or any catchy slogan like wear many hats. All these slogans are, for me, I consider it also as a red flag. It's quite hard. So first, let's set the expectation. You start the position, your first month, second month, third month, and you start exploring the systems, the tools, the business wise, and it's a learning curve, right? So hit the ground running, and it gives unrealistic expectations to the manager. I'm still learning, I'm still figuring it out, and it takes time, and that's totally fine. Because at universities we don't have this business side, product strategies, KPIs. We don't have this side. We are more into technologies. We are like Docker, Python, Oracle, like all this stuff. So we are like 5 stars when it comes to the technical side, but 2 stars when it comes to the business side. And that's why I'm saying that it takes time and it's a learning curve. And that's why we usually shadow with senior scientists, senior analysts, senior engineers regarding this prospect, so you can build up this skills much faster and effectively. Okay, and again, I see that work hard, play hard, or all these slogans are more like unrealistic expectations and not making the communication any practical. And then we have number 5, the red flag: culture of blame, long emails, and escalations. Associated with culture of blame, long emails, and escalations is that what you permit is what you promote. So if someone is permitting to like, oh, this task is delayed due to miscommunication between one XYZ or whatever the reasons, it's actually permitting culture of blame. Instead, if a manager is taking responsibility and taking accountability, you will see that most of his team is doing the same, is responsible enough in handling cases and communications. So this point can be highlighted indirectly, and I can help you with that. So basically, when you are in a meeting, an interview with a technical manager, you can ask him about the challenges he faced in 2025. Recently, I did an interview this way. I had an interview for a data scientist position, and I asked her that, okay, what are the challenges related to 2025 or 2024 that you want to overcome in 2025? And she said that they build up a tool and spend 3 quarters or so, and when they make it available to users, they weren't impressed about it and they didn't use it, and all this costs and time and meetings were wasted. So you can ask this type of questions. I can help you with that. So for an example, you can ask about the product life cycle. Usually we, as an end-to-end machine learning model, for an example, we have the business problem or the business questions, we have the data, we have the model, and evaluation and recommendations. So you can ask about the product life cycle. You can ask about how do you prioritize tasks when deadlines are tight. You can ask also about what was the longest ticket open in the queue. Ticket is one of the ways or tools that managers or teams use to see the performance and highlight which tasks are, like, prioritize the tasks. So basically I used to work on tickets, Kanban and agile systems, if you know, and we usually have tasks with, like, highlighted as red. Red means like the first priority, and then second priority and third priority tasks. And usually companies using these systems via Jira or Agile, etc. So you can ask these questions and the answer will be like, oh, we have this challenging XYZ and we were able to identify these weak points or overcome these points. And you can see the indirect response that, is he talking in a responsible way, accountability, or culture of blame? Like, oh, that was the marketing team, they did XYZ wrong, it was horrible communication, we had to delay. Like, you will see that how he or she responds. Is it a culture of blame or a culture of good communications? You can ask another question like, can you reflect with an example a time when a project didn't go as planned and how did the team adapt? These questions can shed some light into the work environment and how the team work under pressure, and yeah, that can help you. And additionally, I have a great blog that can give you a bit more hints related to the topic of this video. It's called A Culture of Blame or a Culture of Accountability, You Have the Power to Decide. And I want to reference one line that I found it interesting, that blame culture, like any other workplace culture, starts at the top of the food chain. So if you can sense any type of toxicity reflecting your organization, arising from constant deflection and the finger pointing, you have the power to stop it in its tracks. So I highly recommend to read this blog. It's very valuable, and I will add the link down below. Furthermore, there are some questions that can be beneficial. You can ask them in the interview phase, such as like ask about the turnover, something like, are there any recent team changes or new hires in the department? You can also highlight like ask about the team's structure and how long some of the current team members have been with the company. This kind of questions is trying to help you to understand the turnover rate of the department, of the team itself. And you can also ask about the work balance life. Yeah, it's an explicit question, but we want to like collect some data to understand more how the company personality behavior out there, right? And also you can ask about like internal communication between the members of the team, and might be some kind of misleading answers, but again, if you seek for experience, I highly recommend it to ask about like open questions and let the manager or the scientist or the senior member or even the recruiter fill the gap for you and help you to make up and figure out the right decision for your case. Then we have another red flag, number 6, manager's non-technical background. This one, I wouldn't say it's a red flag. Like if you can see here, it's more like yellowish. Manager with a thick background is like chef's kiss, okay? If a manager with a CS degree, engineering degree, anything related to AI, that will be so beneficial, because he understands what you are doing and he can help you to optimize your model and help you with everything related to the technicality, like, oh, you use this approach but try to like modify these parts here and there to make it much faster and adaptable. And on the other hand, dealing with a non-technical manager, it can be good for the business side for communication, but it's a bit challenging to transfer, to like communicate about your work, especially when it comes to the performance report. Some projects don't give this like this beautiful reflection that you can add it to the performance report. So again, I prefer working with manager with the technical background over non-technical background. For the last one, red flag number 7, the business acumen knowledge. And based on my communication, based on my experience and everything, is what differentiates between a junior and a senior level is few things. The first one, the most important one, is senior scientist is able to promote his work. If it's a linear regression model, if it's voting classifier, he knows how to promote his work. 2, he's comfortable talking about KPIs, business value, optimizing product strategies. He's very comfortable around this side of business. He has valuable strategies when it comes to projects, that tasks and deadlines, and challenging projects, stakeholders with unclear business questions. He has valuable strategies to handle these problems or these challenges. Junior level, he didn't learn that yet, okay? And that's why you'll see some senior try to hide his techniques, so a junior level don't learn these techniques and get promoted. Because again, for a senior, your next position or your next title is to be a staff scientist or a staff analyst or applied scientist or applied analyst, okay? And we see that as a junior data analyst or a junior data scientist, you don't learn these things at school. You actually like somehow get these points and hints in meetings, if someone help you to get you understand it, etc. Okay, so for me, I think that if it's a genuine collaboration workspace and work environment, seniors are comfortable talking about these sides, because again, their jobs and their tasks and projects are secured. They are not hiding their projects from the others. That's how I see it. Like, sharing the information is important and natural, okay? Genuinely sharing, not sending email and say, oh, I shared this information with everyone. No, genuinely sharing. So for me, I think that if everyone is secured and comfortable around his tasks, and he or she are making sure that no one will get involved in their tasks and not stealing or taking their projects from them, then it's a good green work environment to work at, and vice versa. Okay. And last point, that people sometimes forget the first rule, that which is collaboration. At universities, we learn this. The first thing at hand is to collaborate in hackathons, to collaborate in events, in module projects, even in dissertation. You know that some universities will ask, instead of everyone submit his thesis, there will actually be group of 3, group of 4. Okay, so we learn the first rule is that we collaborate, and it's hard to see that in some companies there is no such a thing. And we see that tools that build on collaboration are survived. So we have the most strong community, Python community. Okay, we have also Kaggle community. We have also Postgres SQL community. These 3 communities are free, open sources, and they are so powerful because, again, it's based on sharing information and collaborating. And that's why they are standing for several years now, until 2025, and I'm 100% it will be like in 2030 as well, okay? Because it's based on collaboration. So collaboration, among other traits, are very important skill, and unfortunately not everyone is able to possess it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching me to the end, and I see you in the next video. Bye.